Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Tatsuro Taira versus Edgar Chairez. Taira's 13-0, 23 years old, and he's giving up 2 inches of reach to Edgar Chairez, who's 27 and has a record of 10-4. Chairez has taken this fight on very short notice, and Taira, was supposed to fight a few weeks ago against Clayton Rodriguez, so that little hiccup must have thrown off his peaking, as they call it. Either way, both guys are taking a somewhat of a risk here. Certainly Taira's taking the bigger professional risk. I mean, he's a minus 900 favorite. He should destroy this guy. And I don't know if he's gonna. I mean, I expect him to win. And yeah, I guess I expect him to get the finish. But I really like Edgar Chairez. From everything I've seen on him, and I've seen a good amount of his fights, he's a very capable fighter. And I expect him to stick around in the UFC. Not just for one more, but I think he's a capable guy that can beat some guys in the UFC. Taira, he's 13-0, 10 finishes in his 13 wins, 3 by TKO or knockout, 7 submissions, and just 3 decisions. He beat Carlos Candelario by decision, which we saw that one, largely a dominant victory. And then he won against 2 really solid, durable veterans in Japan that are, really, really difficult to finish. But everybody else he's put away. We saw him get the armbar, the triangle armbar over Jesus Santos Aguilar. We saw him get the armbar over CJ Vergara in round 2. At the UFC level, I still think most of Taira's victories are going to be with his opponent tapping out. Edgar Chairez, he's got all finishes, 10 finishes in his 10 wins, 4 by TKO or knockout, and 6 by submission. Very versatile fighter, kind of like Taira, just not as refined in either department, striking or grappling, but still a good enough guard, multiple arm bars from the guard, really active, great body kick, and he's a southpaw too, so every body kick's a liver kick, or at least a good amount of them anyway. And got some finishes there. He's a really aggressive guy, and I think he's got decent cardio, even though he was finished in the 5th round, but that's still the 5th round against Jesus Santos Aguilar. He has 4 losses, 2 by submission, 2 by decision. He lost this guy Axel way back when, and then by triangle, I believe. And then Jesus Santos Aguilar got him with the guillotine in round 5. Competitive fight that was for the Mexican UWC or something, some championship. And now both guys are here in the UFC on the same card, fighting an hour apart. Pretty cool. But Chairez, he's definitely a little more vulnerable, more takedownable, certainly, which I think, for Taira, the easier his opponent is to take down, the more likely he's going to get the victory. I think first and foremost, you're going to need solid takedown defense to make a Taira fight interesting. But Chairez, he faded a little bit in his Clayton Carpenter fight on the Contender Series as well. That's where Clayton Carpenter won. He got clipped early on and survived, and then kind of took over down the stretch. And Edgar Chairez, he wasn't the last man standing, as I like to say. His other decision loss comes to Alberto Trujillo, who's the current Fury FC champion, so no shame there. But, he's been beaten by good guys, but here he's supposed to fight a very, very good guy. Taira, I think, is going to have his number everywhere. I think he's going to be sharper on the feet. Taira hits really hard compared to how you'd expect him to hit, and plus he throws really accurate, long, quick strikes, great kicks, probably better kicks than punches, but still has really good punches, and on the ground is where he wants to be. He's got incredible control, really dangerous transitions, just a threat everywhere, and probably wins the wrestling battle here too. Even though Taira's wrestling isn't as strong as it might need to be moving forward, I certainly think it's good enough to get Edgar Chairez down, and then his jiu-jitsu is good enough to get him out of there. Chairez, he's picked up some solid wins, got that viral stoppage over Gianni Vasquez, fucking horrible stoppage. He beat Ivan Flores Hernandez, TKO'd him in round 1, but that's a really good fighter whose chin is gone. That guy's on his way out, but still, pretty name to have on his record. Chairez, I want to see him stick around. I want to see him give it a go on a full camp, but here I think he's going to be up against it technically and resorting to going after it in round 1, pouring his heart out, and then, I'm not even sure that's going to work, but I think that's going to be his game plan, and then he would fall apart down the stretch. I think Taira's going to be all over him from the beginning. I think Taira's going to immediately take over this fight, make it his, and get Chairez out of there in the first half of the fight. That's my prediction. I've got Tatsuro Taira via first round finish, armbar deep into the fight, or some sort of a submission on the ground. And my bets, I sprinkled a little bit on the under at minus 115 now, but really I'm staying away from this. There are, it's tempting to bet on Edgar Chairez because I do respect him as a fighter, but I don't know. I think even though he's never won a decision, he would need to win by finding himself on top of Taira and stuffing his guard. Because on the feet, I think he's outgunned. And on the ground, as far as getting a finish goes, I think he's outgunned, despite him being a pure finisher at this point in his career. So Taira by finish is the pick. You can get him by submission at plus 160, round one. I don't know. I kind of just, that's not juicy enough for me to play that prop, even though that is my prediction. The under gives you a little more leeway. Could be a TKO, could be a finish for Edgar Chairez, of course. And it could happen in the first half of the second round. So that's my only play so far, and my heart's not totally into it. Really, I'm staying away from this one, but hope to see a good fight or an impressive finish. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.